Okay, so we are going to add Nearpod lessons to our Schoology course. It has to be student-paced, and the only way you have student-paced in your Nearpod account is if you paid for it yourself or you have been assigned by your campus DLS to have a gold package account. If you do not, by going through this training, we will take your information, pass it on, and our coordinators will create a account for you where you can have student paced. So I'm going to go to one of my courses. Remember, I access Schoology through Clever, and I click on the Schoology icon, or I go to aldine.schoology.com. So I'm in one of my courses. I could go to one of the weeks that I'm working in. I just created a folder down here for this training. So I'm going to open up that folder. Now to add a Nearpod to this course, now I'm working in course, not groups. If your campus has a science group, ELA group, and you do not have this app that you're going to see here, so you can't send that through a group. You would have to actually create it in a course. So I click on Add Materials. I go to Nearpod. Now, if this is your first time doing it, it's going to ask you to connect your accounts, and you'll just go through Google to do that. Just when the window pops up, follow the directions it tells you to do. So I've already done that, and I have access to my Nearpod library. I want to add this quiz, this Nearpod quiz, to my Schoology course. And remember, I have to do student paced. So I click on it, and voila, there it is. And this is what it'll look like for the students. The students click on it, and it will just look like a regular Nearpod, but being housed and staying in Schoology, and they can just click join the session. And then they will go through and do this one. That's a really tough question. All right. So if your account's set up, you're good to go, and you're a Nearpod user and your library already has stuff in there, then you can get started and start adding those Nearpod to your courses. Now, if I wanted to copy this lesson to my other courses, this Nearpod lesson to my other courses, I would come over to the gear, click copy to courses. Let's just say I'm going to send it to my Bella Batman course. I click copy. I'm going to go make sure that that happened. Scroll way down here. And there it is. And it's that simple. So if you're a Nearpod user, man, you are ready to go. I'm sure you have a bunch of content that you can start providing to those students. Now, if you're new to Nearpod and you or if you do use Nearpod, you might not know this, but I'm going to show you a trick on how to create Nearpods through Google Slides. So I'm going to leave Schoology real quick. I'm going to click back on that so when I come back. And I'm going to go to nearpod.com. And I'm already logged in, so my library pops up. Remember, if you have never gone to Nearpod before, sign in with your Aldine Google account, and you will have a silver account. Once this is finished and I send this information on, they'll move you up to a gold package, and you can have student-paced lessons. So here's how you sync your Google account to your Nearpod account so you can work through Google Slides. Is you're going to hit this plus sign that says create and go to lessons in Google Slides. And this is going to ask you a couple questions if it's the first time. And if it is the first time, then you're going to have to do these things. You have to go to add-ons, which is right here. Then you go to Nearpod and you click open Nearpod. So I've done it before. And you can see that now in my Google Slides, I have access to my Nearpod activities, and I can just add those in. So if this was a Google Slides that I had already created, once you've done the sync up and you click add-ons, you can start putting those activities in there. and you can make your Google Slides interactive. So if I had a couple slides here over some information I want to give the students, and I wanted to add a quiz. Well, let me get out of this just to show you again. I go to Add-ons, Nearpod, open in Nearpod. I want to add a quiz after this slide to check for understanding. I click Quiz, and I just type my questions here. And I click Save. Oh, yeah, of course it's cool. Save. Now once I'm done, and you can continue to add activities through there. On collaboration, I'm going to show you at the end of this, if you do add a collaboration to one of your Google Slides, or you're going to use it at student paced, you have to enable that, and I will show you how to do that at the end of this. So I finished my Nearpod lesson in Google Slides, and again, I could just create another slide, put some information, then add a Nearpod to it, and you just add it. You add it. You don't have to add a new slide. Just when you click on it, it's going to pull this up. Okay. Draw me a river. Okay, so I want to now have this in my library. I click Save and go to Nearpod, and I can see it saving right here. While I'm here, just let me show you how to enable collaboration. If collaboration is something you want to use with your students in Schoology or in Nearpod and have it be student-paced, collaboration is kind of like a wall for them to post stickies to, and like a Padlet. It's kind of like a Padlet. So how to enable that is when you're in Nearpod, if you come up to your profile and click on the gearbox, and then you go to Advance, you're going to enable collaboration for student paced. It's defaulted off, so you have to turn it on. Okay, and you can see that there's some other things in here, but I'm not going to go over those right now. All right, so now let me go back to my Schoology course. Remember, we go to Schoology through clever.com or aldine.schoology.com. Students do the same. I'm going to go back into this folder, and I want to add that Google Slides I just created because now it's saved in my library. I click on Add Materials. I go to Nearpod. There's the one I just created. Remember, it has to be student paced. I click on Student Paced, and there it is. Students click on it, join session. That was the first slide. This was the quiz. And remember, it's student paced. Of course it is. And this was my draw it that I really didn't put any information and finish on. You can see that they still have access to their notes over here. So if it was a quiz and you were having them do that, and I believe down at the bottom, they can go through the notes. There, my draw it is. I had a blank slide, sorry. There's my draw it, and it said draw a river. So I just drew a river. And there we go. That's it. And then you'll get that information all through Nearpod. I'm including in this training some refresh over Nearpod. And if it's your first time, you can go through that. But this is a really cool tool to start implementing in your Schoology course. And maybe make those Google Slides that you already have more interactive. Another thing is that I know there's been issues with syncing your Google apps in Schoology. Well, if you're doing Google Slides and you throw these Nearpods in here, this seems to be working pretty good. And you get feedback on it. So try this, attempt this, check it out. And now I'll answer any questions that you have.